It's time for Ask the Mayor with Mayor Stan Wirth today, 402-228-5923. If you have a question about city business today. Good morning, Mayor.
Morning, Doug.
Nice day today again. A little
Absolutely.
warm, but looks like next week, pretty nice.
It's supposed to be
Mid-70s,
some 15 to 20 degrees cooler.
That'll be good.
We'll take it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Today's kind of a special day in Beatrice. I know it's a partial day. The first full day is tomorrow, but for some of the grades, new school year gets underway.
Still pretty amazing to me that it's already the school time and summer flying by, and it's probably more relevant to those that are attending school than it is to me and you.
Our days are long gone as far as that is concerned.
It just is amazing that it just rolls around that quickly.
Yeah. Good time to kind of remind everybody around schools to be careful because there'll be a lot of kids out, a lot more traffic maybe.
A little more congestion, and certainly want to make sure that people pay attention to some of the kids that are running around the schools, because sometimes they don't use the best common knowledge, and so we have to kind of look out for them.
And you have several elementary school locations, which eventually will turn into one. So maybe
eventually that will happen.
It'll be a little bit different traffic situation.
Right, and that I think will be a definite improvement in some of the neighborhood schools.
Mm-hmm. The other change I know for police too is you have a couple of school resource officers get back to their positions at the school. Zach Lauenstein and Natasha Nesbitt, the middle school. So they kind of have to make that shift, that adjustment this time.
Yeah, from being basically on patrol or doing some investigative work to going back to the school setting, but I think they're all also looking forward to that. They're a little more used to it, especially Natasha, who took that position just last year. Zach, however, he's kind of an old hand at it, and represents both of them will represent our schools real well.
That is a program that's really worked out well, seems like.
And it seems like it is becoming more and more necessary in today's environment that you're seeing in our country today. I think it's very important that we have that presence in our school system and constantly review with the officers, the administration constantly review with the officers those safety safeguards that need to be taken.
School security is a different matter today than when you and I went to school.
It certainly is, but by the same token, everything changes, and we have to change with it, and we have to make sure that we are up to date on what those changes have to be.
Okay. In addition to school starting today, I know we were talking a little bit before the program today about kind of coming to the close of the water park season, and won't be open, as I understand, tomorrow. But what if you want to swim? There's a couple of days left.
Saturday, Sunday, and then after Sunday, it will be closed. It'll be closed tomorrow because school is in full session, and lifeguards go away. They go back to school, and so it'll be closed tomorrow. Saturday and Sunday it will be open, and after the Beatrice Humane Society fundraiser on Tuesday, then the pool will be closed for the season, and we'll button it up and do whatever repairs are necessary, and look forward to next year.
Any kind of general estimation of how the attendance went this year?
No, I think what I'll do is try to get those numbers, and maybe we can just discuss that briefly next week.
I was imagine as hot as it's been a couple of stretches there, that certainly helped out.
I've driven by it a few times as I go to the YMCA, and it just seems like it is really, really a popular place.
Yeah. Sometimes that parking lot gets pretty full, and
it does.
Lots of people at the pool there at 12th and Scott Streets. Speaking of 12th Street, I know City Street Department's been kind of picking off some repair projects around the city. I think they did one on 19th between Court and Market just recently. Got another one on 12th Street.
12th Street between Court and Market. And I beg your pardon, between Market and Scott Street. There's some concrete repair work and some asphalt work that will be completed. The concrete work is being done today. The asphalt work, there'll be a milling of a portion of that street tomorrow, and then the asphalt will be laid. Now, that intersection will be closed through the weekend. I think there will be one-lane traffic, however. So when I say closed, I think it will be at least a portion of it will be closed.
Most of those projects only take just a day or two, maybe
Not
three
too long.
at most to get through.
Same thing's going to happen at 16th Street and Market. There's going to be a mill and overlay project, just a small project, but it too will be closed through the weekend.
I think you had one mill and overlay project that was longer on 11th that's been moved into the, next
It's
budget
been
year?
moved into the next budget year, simply because the contractor had a lot of other things ahead of us and going to honor the price that we had originally set and what we had bid for, or what it was bid out for. So that will be sometime in the spring of next year.
You mentioned, or was mentioned yesterday at the Beatrice Board of Public Works meeting, not related to the agenda of the board, but sale of a manufacturing plant facility in South Beatrice.
The old Hoover building is now for sale. It is being listed publicly, and I think the price is going to be negotiable simply because of the demolition work that has to be done. That building has been condemned. So because of the demolition work and some of the environmental cleanup that has to be done, I think that price is going to be negotiated with the owners of the Hoover building. And so hopefully we get some action on that. They contacted us several months ago about different possibilities of what can and can't be done. And now it's listed for sale, and they're trying to market it as well as possible. And hopefully that will be just another old building that has served its usefulness. Maybe get it demolished and out of sight.
Yeah. Environmental issues, how extensive are they at this point?
You know, that has been monitored by Terracon for several years now. And obviously there are some issues there. Otherwise you wouldn't have Terracon with some different wells that are monitoring the runoff. What it is, I don't know. I've not seen the report. But it's obvious that there is some disagreeable stuff there.
If it's eventually taken out of their area for residential use, maybe, or what do you think?
Probably not, just because of the zoning of that area. And I'm not sure that it would be conducive for that, because you're pretty close to Highway 77. But you know, stranger things have happened, so you never know.
Possibly commercial space or something.
It would be perfect for a commercial space.
Yeah, pretty close to 77, so be easily accessible. Yeah,
absolutely.
Have a big roofing company that's right along there. The perfect example of a nice new business there.
Maybe we can talk them into expanding.
There you go. You said it, not me. I'll be calling. What are you talking about? No, but anyway, you know, you've been dealing with, of course, the Dempster plant and the environmental concerns there.
Sure.
This one is not really your problem, though. It's the owners of the building.
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay.
That is correct. Well, and even the Dempster property really isn't our problem because we're not the owner of the building.
Assumed it,
but we're assuming it as we go by buying different parcels on delinquent tax certificates. We're going to continue that process as much as we possibly can, just to methodically try to eat that elephant one bite at a time.
Anything new on that from the EPA or?
Nothing new to report.
Okay.
I really don't have anything new.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. One of the things, and it's a private project, but it's obviously visible around the post office west of there, the PEO home parking improvement that's going in there. Looks rather nice. I know there's traffic cones up around there. I think they're doing some sidewalk work or something.
Very nice improvement to that area. That used to be the site of the old Beatrice YWCA. And then the YWCA, I think, sold that building, and then it was a youth center for a period of time. Caught fire, and after the fire, it was deemed that the building needed to be condemned, and so it was. And the PEO folks purchased it to provide for some additional parking for those that work there, and it takes some of the pressure off of 5th Street.
5th Street's kind of a It's got that little jog in it too, so you
It does.
kind of have to almost cross lanes sometimes. You think that will maybe alleviate some of the problem there, if there is one at all?
Yes,
or-
I think so. I think that a lot of the parking that's on street will be off street now.
Okay. 228-5923 if you have a question for Mayor Stan Wirth today on Ask the Mayor. We're back on Ask the Mayor today with Beatrice Mayor Stan Wirth. Again, if you have a question, 402-228-5923 is our number. The Beatrice Board of Public Works did kind of a quick budget review of this current budget year, which wraps up at the end of September, I believe. And then, of course, you're midway through the biennium right now. Looking at this fiscal year right now, as far as the utility department's pretty satisfied with how
Yeah, I
things are
think
going?
everything has come in really close to what budgets were. In some instances, the income is down just a little bit, but the expenses are down also. And so it pretty much evens itself out. You know, it's a little difficult to take a budget the size of the city of Beatrice and try to estimate what exactly it's going to be, because usually you're not going to be exact, even though some of the departments, I think the water department came in really the closest with expenses just about, I mean, it's you know, almost within $100 of what their expenses would be budget-wise versus what the actual is. And the electrical department, because of some unforeseen issues that always can crop up during any kind of a budget year, and a budget year is just an estimate, but their expenses really are down from what we had estimated in the budget process. Income is actually up in the electrical department, so that's good news. There are issues, I think, going into this next year of increased costs because of what some of the equipment costs for the electrical department, the supply chain, and let me tell you what, because of inflation, the supply chain costs are all over the place.
Yeah, just talking about the two trucks that the electric department has planned, the bucket truck, and then there's I think a
Dump truck.
dump truck, yeah. The prices on those, it's not like going to buy a car or anything. They're pretty expensive. Plus, you mentioned supply chain things.
Right.
Having to wait a long time, like months, to get delivery. on
Months
some
and
of these
maybe
things.
even up to a year or more, and $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 more than what we originally had discussed.
Yeah, makes you keep that existing equipment in pretty good shape, or
Well,
as much as you can.
And the equipment that we have can be fixed, repaired, and buttoned back together as much as possible to utilize it. And we're going to have to, because you're not going to get the new one until, well, whenever.
I would imagine there's safety standards too with things like bucket trucks that you have to meet. So I mean, you can't just keep using an old vehicle forever or something.
You can't
like
just
that.
use baling wire and duct tape to put it together. You have to keep improving, because the safety of your workers are at stake also. So that's another priority that we have to look at.
Okay. In the water department, it was mentioned yesterday that there's plans for a new water main connection on 33rd, which would be the east boundary of the new school site, but not directly connected with the school.
Not
itself.
directly connected to the school. It would provide some redundancy in that area to hook it up to two other lines. 33rd Street at some point in time is going to have to be redone to accommodate the traffic for the new elementary school. And so this is going to be designed and completed prior to that new school opening, simply because we don't want to have to tear up the area again, or tear up a street, or do any boring under the streets that are going to be redone. And so the timing's right to just go ahead and get this taken care of. Again, would provide redundancy in the event that there was a fail on one of the other lines.
Okay. The water department's going to be really, they're a busy department right now, but things really get busy with the state loan, interest-free loan of $7.3 million, I think. And one of those projects at hand right now, building a new transmission line for the wellfield. You had some generator acquisition that is going to help out with the pumping system. Then you're not too far away from the bids on the downtown water main
That is
replacement.
correct. And so that probably will occur in the spring of next year, where we'll bore some of the new lines underneath Court Street. I think we go from 4th to, I want to say 15th Street, if I'm not mistaken. And again, less interruption by doing the boring, but there is a transmission line that at the City Council meeting on Monday night, the question is going to be to award the contract to Judd Brothers to do the transmission line at the new wellfield, utilizing the SRF funds. It's about a $2.3 million project. That came in about $500,000 under the engineer estimate, which we're really pleased about. And they're going to start this fall on that transmission line, and again, provides redundancy, hooks into another line that, again, if we have a situation where there is a fail, we've got adequate water resources for the community.
Speaking of water department, I hadn't gone by there recently on 19th, but how was the painting on the tower going?
I don't know. I didn't drive by there myself.
Wonder if it was done or if it's, I don't know how long that takes. I know they were, last time I went by there, they were kind of still power washing.
They were
it,
power
I remember,
washing,
but,
and it usually takes really a good amount of time, because that's, once you get up there, that's a big tower.
I wanted to see the new logo. I'll have to drive by there and see if that's even
Well, as
mapped out.
as we wrap this up today, I'm going to do the same thing.
Might run into you there. Who knows? But one of the departments where you've had some major expenses as you've upgraded the sewer system at the plant gradually over time, upgrading that plant. But next summer you face probably late this year, applying to renew the 5-year operating permit of that plant. One of the big variables is, what kind of environmental regulations are you going to face, and how is that going to affect the system?
That's a really good question. The permitting process is kind of a long and arduous process, and once it is completed, it's like a report card. The Department of Environmental Quality will take a look at that and determine where we have our strengths and where we are falling short just a little bit, and they will make those recommendations, and then you have a set period of time of when you need to cure what those recommendations or what some of those faults are. But you're right, it is going to be an expensive process. Not the permitting process, but anything that is recommended comes with a large price tag. And so we are crossing our fingers, hoping that we've got a system that is in place. We've been doing upgrades methodically, utilizing rate income from ratepayers to go ahead and finance those, not finance them, but pay for those projects. So it's pay as we go, and we hope that will continue. But if there is a large item that has to be dealt with, then we'll need to issue a bond of some sort, which, good news is, we really are pretty much close to being debt-free. I think the last bond rolls off in 2024. So right now we've got an outstanding bond of about $200,000.
It would be nice if the state and federal government would at least give you a little bit of heads up ahead of time as to what regulations may be coming down the line, because it would make planning
a
lot easier.
Well, they keep changing all the time, and they keep changing all the time because of new decisions that are incorporated into whatever the EPA or Department of Environmental Quality comes up with, and so we just have to deal with it, just like every community does.
Okay. The street department, we mentioned the 11th Street project being pushed back 1 year, but you also have, I think, South 13th. There's going to be a project there between Beaver and Oak, if I remember right.
That is correct.
Where you did some testing. There was
some boring testing that was done last week, and that was trying to figure out the composites of the soil and what the compaction ability of that soil is. By looking at the street, by driving down the street, you can tell that there has been some fail regarding some of the areas where it's just sagging, and so it tells us that the base is not very good. It's going to all be tore up next year, and more than likely go out for bids yet this fall, early winter, and hopefully we can get that project completed next year.
Before we take a break here, one thing that people always wonder about, what's going to happen to my rates? No electric rate increase proposed, no water rate, and a small consumption rate in sewer. The electric rate, if that holds true, that would continue a string since, 2015?
It's been quite a while, and that's a good thing that we're able to sustain no increases in rates for electric or water. The consumption rate for the WPC plant is about 25 cents per 1,000 gallons. So for an average customer, it's about 68 cents a month. For a commercial customer, on average, is about $5 a month.
Okay. 228-5923. We have a few minutes left on our program. We'll be back to wrap up Ask the Mayor in a moment. We have about 4 minutes left on Ask the Mayor today with Mayor Stan Wirth. We had a caller question. It's on a topic we're going to address here just coming up. They wanted an update on the demolition of the so-called Barber building at 413 Court.
Right. And it's supposed to start on Monday. So contacted the contractor, and that's his timeline. So my guess is you're going to see some cones and some barricades along the sidewalk when all of that work starts. But Monday is the date.
Okay. East of there in the next block, I know there's been some questions about what happens with the former J.C. Penney building, which is right next to 6th and Court, not far. Any news on that?
Well, the city owns it, and we are in the process of applying for a grant to do the asbestos removal. And my guess is we're going to be successful, and we'll get that grant and hopefully utilize it to clean up as much of that as we possibly can. Obviously, there is asbestos in the building simply because of the age of the building. But the other thing that we'll tackle is the roof and try to put a good lid on it so it's watertight. But that's the process going on right now.
Okay. Back on the 413 Court, the Barber building, once that is down, that area is cleared out, people might ask, well, then, what's that space going to be used like in the future? When 407 Court was done, obviously that was taken over by a restaurant, which uses that as a courtyard, nice outdoor seating thing. But in this one, any kind of thoughts on what that?
Well, there could be something very similar, even though I can't probably discuss that in great detail. There could be something that is very similar to that, or at least where there is an outdoor setting that looks attractive. Now, we don't own the property. Yeah. We condemn the building, and the building's going to be torn down. But the owner of the property today is still going to have the ability to do whatever they need to, or what they want to do with the building. So until that ownership changes, there's not much we can do.
Basically, the city is rectifying the safety problem right now.
That is correct.
As far as taking down the condemned building there. I was trying to remember how long ago that was condemned. It's been that
February
way.
2019.
You had it right down to the month.
Yes, sir.
Some of those issues just stick with you for a while.
Well, these are things that just take time and drags on, and negotiation between the property owner itself plus the building owners on each side, just because you want to make sure that there's safety issues that are in place, so it doesn't compromise the two buildings on each side of it.
I see.
So it just drags on and on forever.
Yeah. City Council meeting is coming up on Monday night, the second meeting for the month of August. Understand a couple more downtown redevelopment loans.
There are B7 Investments, which is the help me out. It is the little bar between Court Street and Ella Street.
Oh, okay. I know where you meant.
Tracy Crawford owns the building. He and his son, and I can't remember the name of the little bar.
Was it VP?
It used to be the little bar.
Yeah.
VIP.
VIP.
Okay. So got that taken care of.
Yeah, I was trying to remember myself. I was drawing a blank.
So that's going to be one of the loans for about $19,000. And then the other one is regarding the Hevelone building. to the tune of about $40,000, where there is a major remodel project that is taking place at that building, which is next to Security First.
Getting pretty close to committing that $435,000 grant.
Real
aren't
close.
you?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how many are left, Doug, but there are a couple, I think, left in the queue to get approved.
They've had some success with that program.
Very good
loans.
success. And this is the third one that we have been able to take advantage of, and it's just another effort on the part of the city of Beatrice and Main Street to try to assist local businesses as best we can.
When you get into a long-term project where you're successful with grants like that, does that maybe lead to, the state sees you made a commitment, the businesses are making a commitment to it? Does it make it easier to get assistance?
Absolutely.
Down the road?
And once the work is completed, believe me, it doesn't go unnoticed by the State Historical Society when they see something like this, or the Department of Economic Development. This actual grant comes from those two departments, and they, I think, utilize our community as kind of a model of what can and can't be done in a community that is forward-thinking enough to try to do the preservation that's necessary to maintain your downtown.
Okay. Mayor, we'll see you Monday night.
Thanks, Doug.